What it do, everybody? Black Reality TV here. I'm going to stay on this Double Agent 27. And Shannon Sharpe, big up to Shannon Sharpe, man. And also, big up to a subscriber of mine, I believe his name is Peter Sanchez, who sent me the link to this, and I'll put it in the description box. So, Shannon Sharpe said he talked to Eric Reid, 49ers safety, and was telling him behind the scenes what was going on, and saying that Malcolm Jenkins was going behind the players' back, speaking for them, kept pushing and pushing to get a deal done behind the players' back that they did not come to agreement with. And this is all starting to make sense because now the whole Papa John's information has come out, saying that Malcolm Jenkins owns several Papa John's restaurants in the state of Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And we all know about the CEO coming out making statements saying that the protests is the reason why the pizza sales are going down, even though we know that it's the ingredients to your nasty ass pizza. But anyway, Shannon Sharpe was basically breaking it down, the deal in which Malcolm Jenkins wants to sell his freedom of speech for crumbs. Like, when you really break down the deal that the NFL, first of all, they said it was over 7 years, 100 million. Now it's like 7 years, over 89 million for Masters butter biscuits. I mean, this shit is just absolutely disgusting, but I'm going to play the audio clip of what Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless had to say, and basically breaking down this horrible deal. And 40 of the players, I like to know who the 40 players that did not agree to this. Big shout out to them. All I know, Eric Reid, Russell Okung, and a couple of notable players said, hell nah, this deal is not good. But let me play the audio clip of what Shannon Sharpe had to say, man. Black Reality TV. Peace.
Malcolm Jenkins of the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles says he is happy with the $89 million the NFL says it will commit to various social justice causes over the next 7 years, and that he will no longer protest during the national anthem. You have some inside info on this, and I'm also very interested in your opinion of whether you view this as quote-unquote selling out to the National Football League by Malcolm Jenkins, the leader of the player coalition.
Well, Skip, I did. I talked to Eric Reid last night for about 30, 45 minutes.
Of the 49ers, close friend of Colin Kaepernick.
And I talked to him again this morning.
Did you? Wow.
And what he's upset about, Skip, is that when they originally went to New York, the commissioner and some of the owners said they needed a face of this movement. Eric Reid says, oh, you do? Well, I happen to know a guy. The guy that actually started the movement.
Yeah, he did.
No, they wanted no part of him. Okay, if you're not going to let Cap, because, well, at first, let me go back.
Yep.
At first, they wanted the face of the movement. They wanted to be Anquan Bolden.
Okay.
But Anquan Bolden wasn't playing. So if you say you're willing to make Anquan Bolden the face of the movement, and he's not in the league, why not make Cap? So that was off the table. Okay. Eric Reid's looking around like, I've been kneeling down beside Cap for over a year.
Literally kneeling.
Literally.
And by the way, all Malcolm Jenkins has ever done is
raise the fist.
Okay.
But it was the least of the gestures that was being protested.
Okay.
Because if you notice, they're saying the kneeling and the seated position.
Yeah.
How can we get you up off a knee or off your butt to stand for the national anthem? They didn't say anything about taking your fist down.
Not.
So that's the least of the controversial issues that in the league's eyes so they bestowed that, and Malcolm kind of put himself in that position where I'm the face of the movement. Skip, and so they started talking about this. In the original, Commissioner Goodell told them that he could not take this to the owners until March of 2018 March starts what? The new year.
Okay.
All the new money comes in. He couldn't do it until then. All of a sudden, Eric tells me, said, Malcolm Jenkins was on a call Saturday after Thanksgiving with the league. Now, mind you, they had asked Malcolm to stop talking to the league. He was talking without all the rest of the guys being on the call.
Got it.
So they don't really know what's being said. All they know is what Malcolm is coming back telling them. So they've asked him on several occasions, Malcolm, can you please stop talking to them? You do not have the authority to talk on everyone's behalf, because in the beginning, Skip, if you look at it, there are only like 7 or 8, 9 guys that started kneeling and sitting that was in the movement protesting the police brutality and the racial and social injustices in America.
Got it.
So somehow Malcolm Jenkins, even though that wasn't what his foundation was about, he got put to the forefront. So he was speaking on everyone's behalf.
Could that be because the NFL trusted him a little more, felt like he was more with one foot in and one foot out?
They felt that he was probably the one that they can cajole and get the most bang. Because remember, I said, what's the least they can do to get the most bang for their buck? So that was a problem. So Eric is telling me that Malcolm spoke to the NFL, Troy Vincent and Roger Goodell, on Saturday. He comes back and he sends this memo out. What would it take to get you guys to stop protesting? Eric says he calls them immediately. He said that was never on the table. We never discussed that in all the meetings that we had, getting up off a knee or getting up off our bus during the national anthem. That was never. So where did that come from? So now here we are. He said, and he says, okay, they want to donate the money. Eric says, oh, he understood that because they had been talking about that. They wanted like a 401k, Skip. And for people at home that have 401ks, you put X in, your employer will put X in. Sometimes it's 2 to 1. Eric says our original asking was 3 to 1. We put in 1. You put in 3.
Okay.
They said no go. We'll do 1 to 1. But here's the thing, Skip. The money is not new money. They're going to be taking money from breast cancer awareness. They're going to be taking money from the military.
I did not know that.
So now, Skip, guess what? The military is already upset because they think you're protesting them. Now you're going to be taking money that was deemed for them to put to this cause.
Bad idea.
Thank you. Here's the kicker, though.
And by the way, this is 89 million over 7 years. So do the math.
Yeah.
It's not that much money, but go ahead.
Skip, here's the kicker. They can put up to 250,000, but let's just say for the Philadelphia Eagles, their players only put in 20,000, where the owners of the Philadelphia Eagles only have to put in 20,000. So it's not 250. They will match up to 250. But here's the kicker.
This is a bad deal.
But thank you. But no. Here's the thing, Skip. So now the deal is set to expire in 2023. Eric Reed and some of the other guys were saying, how do we make this continue? They say, we'll tell you what, we'll do it like this. And the last year, you have to put up 175,000. If each team, so 32 teams, if you get 31 teams and the players put up 175,000, if one team doesn't reach that number, the deal is off. So it stops. That's not a good deal, Skip. Eric says, hold on. The non-protest for what you were doing was never a part of the agreement. Why would you, Malcolm, you're talking behind our back when we've asked you to stop. You're negotiating deals on our behalf, which we didn't ask you to do, and you think this is a good deal? Once he said, Shannon, I hate that it came out publicly, but we've been trying to talk to Malcolm behind the scenes, and Malcolm just kept going forward. Here's the kicker, Skip. And he said when he talked to Malcolm on Wednesday, Malcolm said, what would it take you to stop protesting because the NFL wants to do a deal? Yep. He said, well, what's the urgency? Roger told us this couldn't be brought to the owners until March of 2018. Skip, what's happening next week? The owners are getting together to vote on said commissioner's contract. So if the players are standing, Roger gets his contract for free and clear. No more hassle, because that's what was the hold up the beginning. How do we get these players to stand? And to answer your question, yes, I believe Malcolm did. He sold his protest for a figure.
I agree with that. And I'm from a distance. You're inside it.
Yes.
But it feels like he did the one thing you can't do when you're protesting.
No.
You can't sell out your protest.
No.
You just can't.
No.
You can't allow it to be bought off.
Right.
And that's what has happened. And you needed a skilled negotiator here to negotiate, not a player for the Eagles.
Right.
You needed somebody big and powerful and who's educated in the ways, the wily ways of the NFL. Malcolm can't do this by himself.
Here's the thing. This is why the CBA has so much, the commissioner has so much power in the CBA, because when you take it to court, you had representation.
You did.
They knew this was a bad deal, and they still allowed you to sign it, and you still signed it. Malcolm is negotiating with people that are shrewd negotiators. So you're not in an advantageous situation. You're at a disadvantage. Second of all, if they've asked you not to have any more private conversations because you're not speaking for the vast majority of the players, why are you still doing it? Why? They wanted someone that was not as controversial. They didn't want Cap because they said Cap is not in the league and he was too controversial. They didn't want Eric Reed because Eric Reed was next in line.
He is still kneeling.
Yes, and he's like, but the thing that he had a problem with, at no point in time when they were doing these negotiations was non-protest a part of this settlement.